We are the Bigger Lights, and you're tuned in to tcdcmedia.com.
Gotta get the Brokeback
That is the
Mountain
Brokeback Mountain theme song.
just so everybody knows. That's not tinkering.
Nah, man.
That's intentional.
I hope ours are posted.
Yeah.
You're good.
Nah, that's ridiculous.
Alright, what's up, you guys? This is Dan from tcdcmedia.com, and I'm here today with the Bigger Lights.
What up? Hello.
Chris is
I'm
having
ready.
problems.
I'm ready.
Yes. You look great.
I'll just do Indian style classical.
How about we start this thing off by you guys telling us your name and what you do in the band?
I'm JK and I play the drums, clearly.
Yeah.
Just kidding, I play guitar.
I'm Topher and I sing.
I'm Christopher and I play guitar.
So I know you guys have been sort of non-stop touring since
A long time.
a long time.
Yeah, it's been, we've been 2 back-to-back tours with, one was with this Providence headliner, then we were kind of did like a short tour with the Audition that led right into this one, with Q's Holy Influence. So I mean, we haven't been home, I think we've gone for like something close to 15 weeks.
Mhm.
So it's been awesome, but
Has the touring enhanced with each tour? I mean, are more kids coming out to see you guys that...
yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about this tour is like we've seen, like when we're an East Coast band, I mean we're from basically based out of Virginia, and like it's crazy to see like kids going nuts in like Portland, Oregon, or like Seattle, or like, you know, Arizona. It's just, for us, it's like mind blowing because we just never thought, you know, we'd get to a point where that. Now we're bringing kids like all over the country, so it's super rad. It's awesome.
Anything you guys want to add?
No.
You did a great job.
Thank you, man.
In song,
Oh, that's
anything you want to add?
Oh, I would like to add.
Like you said, you guys have been opening on some tours. As an opening band, are there any pressures to maybe dull down your set a little bit, not to sort of piss off the headliner?
Hell no.
No.
It's the exact opposite. We want to piss you off. We want to make people that play after us be like, shit.
We amp it up.
That's what now we're about.
Well, no, because watching you guys take you guys were just like all out. It was crazy. I'm just thinking, wow, man, Sean's gonna rip them a new one for showing him up.
Well, that's the thing.
Well,
It's like,
you know,
I mean, our band is our band. Like, we're gonna do the way we do it. I mean, and I think that's kind of our mantra as it goes. But on this tour, until tonight, there was this band opening called Down with Webster, and they were fucking killing us every
The
night.
first night we watched him, we were like, son of a bitch.
We had to step up our
Following
game on
every
this
night,
tour,
yeah.
for sure.
In late March, you guys released your self-titled album. How about you tell us a little bit about that?
My man.
It's cool. I like it. I mean, it's awesome. It's like, it's the first time we've put out a record, I think. Granted, by I say the first time we put out a record, like, it is our first full length, and we've only put 2 EPs out before that, but I mean, we're a band that writes a lot of music, and it's the first collection of songs we put out that I feel like actually is a good indication of like where our band is and where it's going and stuff. Like, you know, I think we put out some stuff before that you know, we're proud of for what it was, but it was like, it felt like a band that didn't really know what it wanted to be, like a band that didn't have an identity, that felt more like the pressures to conform to a certain set of like standards just to compete with like other bands that are doing the same thing. And I think the cool thing about this record is it's like the first steps of like a band like breaking out of its shell and saying like, you know, like, don't really care. Like what anybody says, like if you like it, great. If you don't like it, you know, fuck it. Like we can't like please everybody. So I'm excited. I mean, I really love the record. I'm proud that it's the first record we've done with like all 5 of us together, and I'm excited to see where it goes from there.
How would you describe the sound from the record?
Rock.
And
Roll.
It's like, I think we're a rock and roll band that's super influenced by classic rock and pop music. So I mean, that's kind of the blend you get. I mean, it's definitely like, you know, it's fun, you know, 3-minute songs, you know, but they all mean something. They all come from somewhere. And if you see us live, you'll see the rock and roll as well.
We've been hearing on this tour a lot that the record paints us to be more of a pop band than we really are. Because I think the record, you know, we went in and made, you know, not so much consciously, but it's just a pop record is what we ended up making. Like it's more pop with rock influences. But I think people that have been coming to the shows are starting to see that we're a rock band with pop influences instead. Which it sounds like the same thing. But there's like such a distinct difference to us, like to whether you're mostly rock or mostly pop. And I'm excited because I think this record's a really good first step. But I think the next one you can kind of expect to see a rock band.
I think it's a good segue from the EP to this to
Yeah.
whatever comes next. You know, like,
So about the influences, you said classic rock, you said pop. What are some specific examples of what fuels the bigger lights?
I mean, like, we all love Aerosmith and Queen. Like, those are two mainstays in our band. But I mean, we also have different influences, like, alright. But I think we honestly listen to everything. We listen to
just I think anything that like
anything that's good. If
Anything
you could
that's,
be
like-
a great hardcore band, we'll listen to that. Like, if you're a
anything
shitty
that has like
hardcore band, we
soul,
won't
or,
listen
you know,
to it.
anything that can like move you when you listen to it. It's like, oh, that's the stuff that lasts. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's the stuff that means something. Like, if you write a pop song, or if you write a country song, if you write a R&B song, or
good
fucking-
song's a good song.
Yeah, it's good no matter what. That's why there's a thing called remixes, because if it's a good song in any format, it fucking works. So to us, it's like we like listening. I mean, it's fucking easy to say, but we listen to good music. So.
You listen to straight shit.
Yeah.
But classic rock and like a lot of real rock bands from like the 70s, 80s, and even 90s are bands where we draw all our influence from. So.
Not that there's no modern bands that we just that we don't
Yeah,
like. We
there's-
like.
What are you doing that's on the radio now?
What about on the radio?
I haven't
I love
listened
Muse.
to the
I don't know
radio.
how much Muse is. Muse is a band that's
They've been in the
killing
alternative
it.
station.
Black Crowes is still around, and I still love
We've
them.
all been.
I'm super into Phantom Planet recently. I don't know if they're still on the radio
Even
or
though
not.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I know.
We've been digging this band Foxy Shazam lately.
They eat
All of
cigarettes,
us,
don't they?
all of
Yes, they
us
do.
have been kind of like all over Foxy. We've just been like.
I love the
my
tour
man.
with them. They would kick our ass, dude.
Every night. And we just want to get our ass kicked every night. That's the kind of tour, I think that's like the kind of tour we want to be on, is like a tour with bands that are going to just own us every night so that we have to watch it and then get off stage feeling like shit and then be like, dude, we've really got to step it up here. So I think that's how we get better, is like by being thrown into the fire like that and like having to.
Well, I don't know how you would top eating cigarettes. I mean,
Man, I don't know, man. I've seen them on stage. They're like a carnival, like
do they just
fucking
climb
guitars.
on shit? And I
Well,
actually
it's
find that
mostly
the lead
the
singer-
singer is like
insane.
super eccentric. Like he's a different breed. I mean, they remind me of like if you mix like a carousel with like Queen. Like that's they're like Queen at the carnival. Like they're crazy.
It makes
is what I
perfect
love.
sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Like that's what it reminds me of, and I think it's super cool because they're like a rock band and they have a great record, but like live you see them and there's nothing like it.
There are a lot of dogs out this evening.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
what inspired you to do what you do on stage, as far as like your moves? You know.
For me, like honestly, I grew up. My mom actually owns a dance studio, so I grew up dancing my whole life and did musical theater, and like that's what I was trained to sing. And, like that's where I got comfortable being on stage. So for me, like it was a kind of like a theater background kind of thing. But I mean, I was always in bands, like starting in like middle school. I mean, that's what I wanted to do because, you know, growing up when you do theater or musicals or whatever, like you're always doing what someone else had written, or like you're always performing someone else's music, and like I always thought it would be like even more rewarding to do something where like you were actually a part of the creation, or a part of like, you know, if your thing was sink or swim, you know, it's yours. So that's why I think being in a band is like, I love it because it's like so much competition and it's hard on yourself, but you know, it's that much more rewarding too. But yeah, no, I think we all come from like similar like musical backgrounds. We're all pretty trained as far as like musicians go, which is lucky for
I don't
us.
think you move like a certain way because of anything. I think it's like, for us, it's always just been about whatever you do on stage, just go big or go the fuck home. Like that's how we look at it. And it's like, well, just sell it. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as it's you, and as long as you know you're confident about it. As long as you just go for it is the thing. Because I mean, there's nothing that I think the only time things look awkward is when you kind of have to do something, and that's why it's like.
Yeah.
The most amazing like rock stars to watch are the ones that just don't give a shit about anything, you know. So I think that's what we go for, is we just try to be ourselves like on stage and you know play the way things affect us. And like Chris and I both love watching like rock and roll guitar players play. So like obviously you know we watch like the Who DVD, like you try to steal Pete Townshend's Windmill thing. Like you just try to take whatever works for you, and like if it feels great then keep doing it. If it doesn't feel great then toss it out. Wear tighter pants.
All right, what's your most embarrassing moment on stage?
I mean, we've got a lot of them.
Most of them are probably me.
Most of them are.
Because you guys are all about living in the moment. And
Yeah, I mean, like I've fallen off the stage and